go back into it. You're watching? Yeah, I can see your Lightroom. So at the
Okay.
top of your picture, you've got 4 pictures of a lady with a red top on, yeah?
No. It's a little bit delayed probably. Yeah, there are 4 pictures there with the lady with a red top on.
Why is it doing that? Come on.
There's always a little bit of a delay.
I'm trying.
I'm scrolling all the way to the bottom.
Right. Let me just live video. What's it doing? Just hate bloody live now. Okay, I can see it moving.
Yeah, there's definitely a delay.
Yeah, I think it's because obviously you'd finished the other stream, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I went back on. So,
So when I look at your screen, I should see, when I see yours, that's what mine should look like.
exactly.
So it might not be giving me the full functionality because I've only got the free trial.
Right. So let me show you what my process is, and it's actually really simple. Once it'll all make sense once you take a look at it.
Yeah.
So I've got on the left hand side is your source. So that's the card. That's the card that it's reading.
Yeah.
And the right hand side is where you want to put it in Lightroom.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
But what it's doing is it's putting it in Lightroom, but it's Lightroom's not a it's a directory, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's on your computer in your drive with a catalog directory telling it where to find it.
Yeah.
So now on the right hand side, I want to import these photos that I have checked. You see the ones I have checked here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to find that folder that I created, which you called Athens on your
Yeah.
side, which we can do that next week.
But that's on my external drive, not on my computer. Yeah.
It shouldn't matter.
Okay.
Because your external drive is hooked to your computer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
as long as the computer can read it.
Yeah.
So now what did I name mine? New Hampshire. There it is. So I've got, you see where I have New Hampshire highlighted on the
Yeah.
right hand side? So
Yeah.
now I'm going to hit import, and it's only going to take those photographs that I've checked, and it's going to put them in my New Hampshire file.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then it's going to do that. My computer's very fast because I have all the bells and whistles. Yours may not be this fast, but for a few photos it would be. Okay, so now it's imported it. Now I can
So that's inside that's in your New Hampshire folder. Yeah.
correct. Now let me show you. I'm going to pull up my file folders, right? And I created this New Hampshire folder. And this is on my computer, so for you this would be on your external drive.
Yeah.
If I double click this, there's all my photographs.
Right.
So they're all in there.
Yeah.
And that's how you know it's in your drive. It's in your computer.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But the one thing you can't do with Lightroom is ever switch things from folders. Because Lightroom is really a mapping system. And it maps to the photograph where you first told it is. So
it create link to that position, yeah?
Exactly. So when you pull up Lightroom and on the left hand side Now I go into my New Hampshire folders, my New Hampshire folder. It's got all the pictures that I put into my New Hampshire folder. They're not.
And then you choose the one you want to edit from the left-hand side, yeah?
No, right from the screen.
Yeah.
Because the photograph isn't physically in Lightroom itself. It's in your drive. But
so if it likes it to a degree, it's saying it's in a cloud location and you need to download it to edit it.
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of like what it is, basically what it is. So let me just click on one. I'll double click on one. And then we can go in and edit it.
Yeah.
And then that's when you have those functions like in the sample it showed you on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have a thing up here that says library. You see where my cursor is pointing?
Yeah.
It says library, and then it says develop. So when you want to go ahead and edit it, you're going to just hit develop, and then it brings up a whole different side screens.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I don't tend to use the presets. I'm not a fan of presets. I'd rather do it, manually in what I want to do. And then you go over here, and these are all your editing functions. So now if I want to, one of the things I really like to do is lift shadows.
Yeah.
Do you see how it brightened right in here in the center where the bridge was? I'm going to take it back to where it was. But if I do that, that's all it lightens this area that was in shadow. That's one of my favorite things to do. Depending on what I'm doing, you intensify the black by lowering it. It's counterintuitive. But you can play with, vibrance and dehaze. Dehaze is another one that's really good for clarity. And with this one, I don't normally bump up vibrance, but the colors really just needed a little bit more saturation and vibrance, just because they're the fall colors.
Uh-huh.
So that's all the basic kind of stuff you can do. Now in Lightroom, it's got a lot of stuff you can do, sharpening, noise reduction if you need to do that. And we'll do some of that next week too. You can, bring up the exposure, of course, if you want to. That may be even a little bit nicer. All sorts of things you can do with it. And I've only done like 2 or 3 little things. So you don't have to go crazy in changing things. It's really very, very user-friendly once you get used to it.
So it's basic, to a degree, I know you're self-taught, really, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm completely self-taught.
So it's just playing with it to understand what it does, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're never going to hurt anything. The worst, this is what I always suggest. Now, Lightroom will automatically make a copy, but if you're ever worried about that, because you can reset it, but if you're ever worried about that, before you go to make any edits and really play around with it, just right-click and create virtual copy. Then left-click that. And now you've got a copy. You've got 2 copies of the same photograph.
One that okay, that makes sense.
One you can play with and do weird things and see, what you want to do with, and it's still not going to impact that original photograph.
No.
But now, see, okay, let me, so now I created a copy and all that good stuff. On the copy, I'm going to hit reset, and that brought it right back to the original.
Yes, yeah, I can see that.
So it's not going to, and this is one of the things I like about Lightroom, is that it automatically creates a copy, but you can also quickly create another virtual copy, and it doesn't
because the original image is behind any edit you do anyway, isn't it?
Exactly it's still there. So and from here you can bring it into other programs as well. Um, and that, that's something we'll get to, in a future course. But like this, for example, I'm gonna edit this. They're add-ons that you can do. I'm gonna bring this to Aurora HDR just because it is a I love it. It's I don't use it for everything, but it's really cool for some things. It brought my photograph in, and it's doing its thing, and that's making it really high definition.
Okay.
Which you don't want to do with all your photographs because it can make them look fake.
Yeah.
But sometimes it really pops photographs too, and you'll notice the controls look just like Lightroom too. Completely different company, but they try and make them universal.
Passable.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just do whatever you want to do in here and apply it, and it'll bring it right back into Lightroom for you. So there's lots of other stuff you can do as well. And so here's the original. That was the original as shot. That was with me doing just a few tweaks. And then here's the one from the high definition.
Wow, what a difference.
Right? So there's so much you can do with that you're not altering the composition of what you took. You're just enhancing things to give it a less flat look, or you want it to pop off the page.
You're giving it more depth, aren't you, really?
Absolutely. You're giving it much more depth as well. So and that's really Lightroom. You can use it for just really basic stuff. You can use it for, everything from, soup to nuts. But that's why I like Lightroom as my home base. If I use one of the other programs I got, I use it as an add-on in Lightroom, which I'll teach you how to do. And then you bring it over, do your editing in the other program, and when you go to save it, it'll bring it right back to Lightroom. So it stays in your catalog.
It takes it back to your original input place.
Exactly. Think of Lightroom as your basket of photos.
Yeah.
Or your folder of photos, and it's always going to come back to Lightroom because that's where you keep your photos. That's your basket.
And I suppose in a lot of respects for me, this is what I wanted to start doing, because
Yes.
I didn't want to start filling up the memory on my Mac.
Right.
And so what I might do long term is actually buy another external just for my photos rather than having it on my backup drive, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Get another external where you can store all your photos, and it'll store all the edits. Now, I'm gonna do something quickly, and then I'll reopen Lightroom. When I go to close Lightroom, you just exit, you hit the X, and it says, "Do you really want to quit?"
Yeah.
Yes, I really want to quit. Now, I have this set up this way: backup catalog. This is only backing up the catalog, not your photos. Now, remember when I said catalog, the catalog is that link that tells Lightroom where to find the photographs.
So it's like a web address to a degree.
Exactly. A pathway, a web address. Now, I usually have it set up just as a matter of practice every time Lightroom exits. So if you ever have any type of catastrophic failure or something, you can always go to your backups and then get that catalog and reinstall it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing backup, and it's going to back up my Lightroom catalog. Now there's another way, and Amy will have to help me show you how to do that because she figured it out, where it also backs up the photographs that you've got in the Lightroom.
Okay.
So this will just take a second, and then I'll reopen it. So it's backing up the catalog just for safety. And I do that every time I close out.
Yeah, because at least you then know that the links are kept, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then you know it's safe. All the edits, it's not going to take away your photos. You know, if you forgot to back it up doing this, it's definitely not going to hurt your photos or take them away or anything like that, but it's going to take away all your edits.
Yeah.
And you'll have to go in and re-edit again. By doing this, it keeps a note of all of the edits that you've done. Which is
so quick question. You know,
yeah.
You mentioned your NAS drive.
Yeah.
Is that a powered NAS drive?
Yes.
So at the moment, all I've got is like an external drive that isn't powered. It's powered from the Mac. I'd be better buying an external powered NAS drive, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I would. But both are good. Your external drive, because you don't want to load up your Mac, because you can't extend your Mac.
No.
The only thing you can do is have external drives. Have as many external drives as you want, and those are your little baskets, and that's, you know, where your photos are. What I use the NAS for is as a secondary backup. Think of your external drive and the Lightroom catalog, all of that stuff is getting a secondary backup onto the NAS. So just in case one of those drives fails, or Lightroom crashes, or any of those other things, you go into the NAS and you can reload everything from there.
Makes sense.
That's all it is because otherwise you are going to lose all your work. Well, you're going to. You could potentially lose all your work. And so that's why you really want to have that double backup.
It's a peace of mind, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, like for example, I have a device that I got called a Next2 drive, and I actually did I think I did a YouTube thing on it. You can see. They're not that common, and I don't know why more field photographers don't have them, because it's brilliant. They're a little on the pricey side. I think they're about $450, but it's a contained unit, and you can swap out SSD solid state drives. I've got a 1 terabyte one in there now. When it's full, I can take it out, put another one in. And when you're in the field, you just take your card, your CF card, and hook it right in there, and it will copy the raw photos.
Right.
So it's like a secondary drive, but what's better is it understands raw photos. So it's not going to just turn things into JPEG.
That makes sense, yeah.
So that's for me in the field a secondary. It's like my NAS in the field, if that makes sense. So now if you, I'm in develop, I'm going to click on library again. So now if you look on the left-hand side, this is the library of all the ones I've created. And I'm going to pull up this, and you'll see they correspond. Let's go right in order. They correspond. They look identical. See?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because this is pointing.
It's a mirror of that, isn't it?
Exactly. It's pointing to that.
And that's what you were saying about the link, yeah?
Yep, the link and then the folders, creating folders with names on them, so that way you know, oh, I want to work on my Athens photos today. You don't have to worry about this. You're not going to go into that, but you just open up Lightroom and you look for your Athens photos. Boom, there they are. I'm going to work on that today. And like let me pull up Argentina and Brazil. And we can do a loop look so we can see all the photographs. Nah, I don't feel like working on that today. I think I'll work on Denmark. There are my Denmark photographs. So I really like to separate things out into location, which is probably what you're going to do.
Which is what I want to do, because then it makes it easier to look for certain things.
Yes. Yes. And I think I have this also, and I know you do macro too. Low Base that was on here, he's a great macro photographer. I guess I don't have it on here, but you can do a whatchamacallit, a folder that says macro, and put your macros in there. One that says flowers, put your flowers in there. It's however you like to find your stuff.
If you go to a specific place, though, it's actually quite nice to do it by the place, isn't it? Like your Denmark.
Yes.
You've probably got one for Spain when you were in there earlier in the year.
Right. Yeah, I've got Spain in here. Pantanal when I was in Brazil. Here's Spain.
Yeah.
Beginning of London. and then Spain. It just makes it much, much simpler, because then you know where your photographs are.
Yeah, that makes pure sense.
And you can see at any given time, like how many photographs are in there. Like Pantanal, Brazil, I have 3,806 photographs.
You just took one or two then?
Just a couple, yeah.
See, that's the other thing, because if I'm honest, Marissa, I suppose I've slowed down on taking photos recently because I've not been doing anything with them.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to get back into Lightroom and start doing it, because, all right, it's a Mac, and I know you were originally Mac.
Yeah, I was.
And then Ames built you the better computer.
Yeah.
And you've gone to the PC. But
yeah.
For me, I mean, long term, I might look at going to PC, but the Mac's great for me because it's got everything in it.
Yeah. The reason I like Mac, the reason I went to PC is because it's expandable and upgradable.
Yeah. But I mean, I suppose I can expand it by
externally. Yeah.
That's all I can do, really.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my downfall why I left Mac, was because I just wanted to expand and make things faster, and Mac wants you to buy a whole new computer, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, I mean, in some respects, I'm probably going to go down the external drive or NAS drive.
Yeah.
And then just keep, I mean, all my music and that's on my Mac, and that's the only thing I'm really putting on it. And then I've got my photos on my photo stream. That's
exactly.
Great. But then stuff that I do through Lightroom, I think I'll set it up to do to an external drive. Then I know that they're separate. Absolutely.
Okay. Keep it separate, and then you can hook that up to the NAS.
Well, okay. So because thank you so much for your time today, because it's been a bit longer than we intended.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
I downloaded it this morning, our time. So what I'll do is go back on I'll have a play during the week, but then on Sunday next week I'll go back in and see whether it looks different, because I'm then paying for it, if that makes sense.
Right. And I like Lightroom Classic. I think I pay the $10 a month.
Well, I've set it up to do the $10 a month, but mine's just saying LR down here. If you look, well, mine's just saying Adobe Lightroom. It's not saying Lightroom Classic.
See, mine says LRC. My icon says LRC.
Yeah, and that's what I thought I'd downloaded. I'll have another look, and what I might do is switch it over.
Yeah, make sure that you're downloading Lightroom Classic, because they have the other one that I don't know what it is, and I don't like its workflow.
And that might be why I'm not seeing it in the same way as you are, because this is showing LR.
Right. It should say LRC.
Okay. Let me have a play during the week, and I'll message you. All right?
Okay, yeah, and then we'll get back together again, and we can edit some photographs.
Yeah. So okay. So how do I end on Discord?
Okay, you go into that. Just pull that up, and then all you do is hang up. I think. I'm not very good at it.
So I've heard.
Ha 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 ha.
Have I gone?
Not yet. Okay, yeah, hit the red disconnect.
Stop streaming.
There you go.
I've gone.
Okay, it's gone.
All right, love. Look, hon.
Oh, anytime. Oops, I lost you.